Guys, welcome back to the channel. On the last episode, we worked on our hot side of the truck, namely actually the turbo vac. Got the wastegate recirc system built onto the truck. On this episode, we're going to continue working on the exhaust, and we're actually going to work on a cat system, as well as some exhaust hanger brackets and our crossover pipe to pass underneath our drive shaft. So on this particular setup, we don't have a lot of room under there, so I'm going to show you how we're going to get everything fit into place. So stay tuned. Hopefully we can get some good progress done. So currently the exhaust is run to the firewall on both sides, and I could keep working down and try to go down to the underneath the firewall by the trans there, but what we're going to do instead is we're going to actually lay out our mid exhaust and tie that into the frame, get that where we want located, and then later we are going to connect the two so that they meet up. What we're going to do for the mid section is there's actually going to be cats on this truck. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Everybody's saying, well, why are you running cats? Well, this is going to be a street driven truck, and with all the stuff going on nowadays, emissions wise, I need as little attention as possible. So we are going to run a set of 100 cell 3.5 inch cats. Actually, these are 3-inch cats, excuse me. And they have a 5-inch, or I think this is a 4-inch body on it. And so we're going to use those as our catalytic converters on this. So not going to be a huge power impact with this. And it'll be nice not to have the odor and smell associated with not running any cats. So we're going to go ahead and get this laid out. We're going to have basically get them sort of frame mounted to the side. And then we're going to have V-bands in the front here and here, and pass that back, and then run a crossover underneath the drive shaft where it comes out of the transmission yoke over, and then both pipes are going to come down this side and then merge together. So let's get started on that, start cutting up some tubing, and let's get to welding. Okay, so we got that all welded up, and I gotta say, I love having actually good argon. It makes it look like I can actually weld, which makes a huge difference. These aren't as bad, or aren't as good, but they're still not bad. 10 times better than what it was before. If you watched the last episode, you know I got a bad bottle of argon, and evidently that's why all those are a little meh. But these are turning out pretty good. So next up, what I need to do, I need to figure out a mounting system for this. So I'm gonna get some stainless hangers and sort of weld these onto here and sort of get them all fitted up and going from there. I did do some changes. When I had the bad bottle of argon, I wasn't sure quite what was going on. So I went and got a water-cooled CK torch, which so far has been awesome. I've been burning some heavy stuff here for work. This is some 1/2 inch that I was burning at like 200 amps, and welds really great. And then I built this TIG cooler which you guys can see. It's all PID control, all that fun, cool stuff. Has little screens and all that fun stuff. And I actually used, if you remember from one of the episodes, I used a chunk of the intercooler that we cut off that was bent, and that is my the actual heat exchanger. So it's working pretty good. But we might do an episode on that, not an episode, but like a how-to, and maybe upload the code and all the Arduino stuff. And you know, the pump is variable power, so basically when it's sitting on standby, it's quiet like this. And then as I crank up the amperage and the temperature between the on and the off water on the torch spread apart, it increases the flow in the water torch and does all the fan control, all that fun stuff. But that's not what this episode's about. I just wanted to show you kind of what I got. So next up, I'll get these sort of brackets made up, and we'll see how we're gonna get these mounted underneath the truck. And then welded that up. So let's go. Okay, so I went to the parts store and I got the little rubber walker bushings. So I'm gonna make a little mount here, it sticks up above here, out of this stainless rod. This rod just so happens to be free because it came out of my buddy's scrap hopper, which I asked him if I could have some, and he said, sure, go for it. So it's the perfect size. It's, you know, already stainless, so it works out. And I got like a whole stack of them. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut these a little long, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to stick it up in the lathe, and I'm gonna drill and tap a hole here on the end. And the reason I'm gonna do that is I wanna make like a little stopper, like I'm gonna make this long that can float, but I don't want it to slide off the end. So I'm just gonna thread it and put a little set screw in there, or not a set screw, but a bolt and a washer, so it'll like catch it. And just, you know, little details, try to incorporate it so I don't have any issues. Not that it should pop off, but you know, whatever. We'll do it anyway. So, get cutting. Okay, got them turned and got them threaded. So now I got an M8 tap in there, or M8 thread. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take the base plate out of this guy. Sorry about that, jumping around. Take the base plate out of this guy, and we're gonna bend these up. Okay, not terrible. We got it all welded up, brackets made. I did both of them, and I put an extra V-band on this side off camera. Set this guy down here, and I'll show you what we got going on. On the other side of the truck, I have the other cat underneath it, and you can see it from here, where she's at, and you can see that little donut on there. Well, I need to make a bracket that's gonna hook onto the frame rail, and I'm gonna go ahead and plasma cut that out next. Okay, so we got the brackets all cut out. I have some 1, 2, 3 blocks squeezed together at a 90 degree. Everything laying against the back plane, and that sets everything up nice and square, so I can just slide my pin in, and we're gonna have it nice and true and parallel to the frame rails. So go ahead, let's weld it up. Well, I'm an idiot. So if you look at these, what's the problem? I welded them both exactly the same, even though they go on opposite sides. So the rod's sticking out the wrong way on the one. You sit on the frame rails like this. Oops. So it's still hot. Tomorrow I'll have to cut another plate, cut another rod, make another bracket. This time make it sticking out the right direction. Oops. Okay, all better. So I made another one, same way, obviously. And the only thing I did was I cut out some back caps here and then just stitched them in the front, tapped them over, formed them down, and then blended them into the surface that looks like one nice part. Because I did have a little bit of like side to side, you could grab this and it squeeze in. So got rid of that. So now I need to get into the truck and weld them onto the frame. So I need to mark that out. Before I do that, I need to rip the whole front end off the truck because I have the hood sitting on because I was checking some clearances and stuff, and you can see it's kind of all together. So that's for a different episode of why I'm doing that, but I figured we'll rip that apart and get these welded up. Okay, so I got both sides stitched in. I could only get to one side on top and I could only get to the other side laying on my back. So they are partially welded, which is fine. When the cab comes off the next time, which it will have to multiple times from here on out, we'll weld everything else up complete. So next up, I'm gonna get the cats pushed into the donuts, make sure everything clears. And then we need to start getting our elbows laid out so that we can pass this side over to the other side. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm trying to show you guys what's going on under here. I got them hung up. The front sits about a 1/4 inch lower than what I wanted to compared to the back. The back needs to clear this bar right here because you can see that clamp where that bar goes across there. So that tube needs to clear. So the backs are set up on 1, 2, 3 blocks. Focus. Is it gonna focus? No, nice, okay. So the backs are set up on 1, 2, 3 blocks, so they're 2 inches high, and the front's only about 1 inch and 3/4 high. So there's a slight arc to it, or not arc, but angle to it up. But we're gonna rock it for now. I'm not really too concerned about that short little section. So what I'm gonna do next is try to pass the pipe out here and get some 45s cut and then bring it across to the other side. So let's get cutting. Not bad. So I got a little extension pipe on here. You can see how it sort of sticks underneath the truck. So I'm going to go down there, get it sort of installed in place, and then we'll see what we need to do to continue it out. Okay, so apologize for the bad angle. This whole project would have been a lot easier to do with the cab off, but don't want to do it right now. So this is what the part looks like when it's installed under here, the crossover pipe. We got it leveled out on some blocks. And now we're going to bring it over here, and I need to trim this left pipe where it needs to go. It actually needs to come up back into the plane of this pipe. So we're going to use some more of those pie cuts and do some compound turns. Probably turn up and then over like this and get them side by side. And then once they're side by side, they'll be going into our collector. So, you know, work on getting this laid out and see what we need to cut and how we need to fit it. Okay, so quick change of plans. I was under there trying to get things lined up, and I quickly came to the realization I need to connect the dots. So this tube here is the passenger side tube extension. This is where the cat that we welded up will be. The crossover is coming over this way and coming up and over like that and connecting to this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld V-bands on to this guy and this end. And then I'm going to make a connector that ties these two together and locks them in place. And then bolt that all back up, get it all level and aligned, and then work the pipe from the cat that we cut off, that one that we made here, and then work it up and in this way. So I make sure everything's fit up and the ends come out where I want them to be. So let's get welding. Not too bad, getting the hang of this finally. So obviously if you watched the last episode, you guys realize I had a bottle of bad argon and it was basically killing my style. So these are turning out pretty good. So what I'm going to do next, I need to go in, get on Fusion 360 and design up a little, like I'm get 2 pieces of plate. I'm going to just weld them in here and here. And then they're going to hold these parallel to each other and sort of give everything joined together and set the spacing. So going to go in, get that started, and then I think I might have enough time to throw a sheet of stainless up on the plasma cutter and burn out a little chunk, and then yeah, I think these will be ready to go back in. Okay, got them cut out and cleaned up. Just little X's here. This one's going to be about 3 inches above that one. If I can fit it in there. About there. So you can see how it's going to fit up. So just have a 1, 2, 3 block to space it off the V-band. Make sure there's plenty of clearance in there. Let's go ahead and weld it up. Okay, we're all welded up solid. Let's get it up underneath the truck. So I crawled underneath the truck, got this all laid out. So right now it's just 2 tacks. I need to do a little bending when I'm doing the rest of this. I'm going to try to stitch this a little tighter and then we'll weld it solid. So that is the crossover underneath the dry shaft. Comes down and comes up, and then here will be our muffler, or it's going to be like a collector / muffler, but it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead, get this all sort of pulled together, pull these gaps out of it, squeeze it a little tighter and get it tacked up. The nice thing is everything in the front floats, everything over here floats, the back floats. So if we do shift it a little bit, it won't cause any problems. So let's get welding. Okay guys, so there she is. I got it all welded up, and you can see here that we got the drop in the crossover and the hangers on the cats. Everything is looking good. I'm really happy with how everything turned out. So this is a nice little setup, and with the V-bands on the cats, when we want to go racing or something like that, we can pop those cats out and put just a straight pipe in there. So nice street setup. Hopefully we can continue going forward here. So that's going to be it for this episode. If you guys have any questions about, you know, what I did or why I did it, shoot them in the comments. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. Not many people run cats on a performance build. I just thought it'd be nice on the street, not smelling like gas all the time. So yeah, we'll see how they hold up. So I'm personally think they don't make a huge difference on performance, especially with the amount of turbo that I have. I should be able to pretty much break anything that I need to break in the truck with the turbos that I have. So, you know, running 1/10 of a pound or 2/10 of a pound more PSI boost isn't going to be too much of a problem for us. The bigger concern I have is reliability with cat and pulling them up and melting them down. So we'll see how they hold up. They were pretty affordable, so who knows, but that's going to be it for this one. I'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully in the next episode, we are going to continue this out like I talked about before and build our merge pipe to go into a single 5-inch single exit exhaust. So stay tuned and have a good one.